Hello everyone, it's Scott and welcome back to another episode of Agrarian Skies 2. So here is the ender tank that I spent probably about an hour or more trying to craft. This thing is absolutely terrible. So it holds 1 million millibuckets, so 10,000 barrels, or 10,000 buckets worth of one material, and it requires redstone power, and well, I ended up having to craft even more of these holders to expand it. So here we have the holding tank. So I only added about one drum worth of lava to this ender tank, and unless it scales up, I'm going to call this whole thing a dud. It doesn't even take two materials at the same time, which I was hoping it would be able to multi-select somehow, but obviously not. It is way too expensive of a device for the amount of tesseracts and whatnot that went into it. So I haven't done anything else in between episodes, so I'm ready to let's get back on the horse and take a look at the quest book. So I'm kind of blocked on a couple items. I'd like to try to finish off the Tinker Toys. So here I really only had a couple of items left. If we take a look at Ardite, I have a lot of Ardite ore. So let's just take a quick look in the book. So this is something I got from the which reminds me, the nether quarry is complete. So I don't have the power draw that I've had in the past. I'm pretty much at this point living with excess power from my big reactor, and so I think that I'm probably going to go back to the nether and kind of move. I think I'm going to move the nether. Oops, let's not do dirt. Let's do the ardite ore. I'm going to move the nether quarry there and see about see if I can get another bunch of material draw. But let's take a look here. So ardite done. Next is cobalt. So I think I have the same issue. Yep, so I actually made some cobalt ingots by melting down some of the cobalt ore. Which should allow me to get some more cobalt ore. And the very last item is a Manyullyn ingot. So let's take a look and see if there's a fast way to craft this. So over here, looks like I can melt down some dust. I can pour things together. So essentially, I'm just going to need to take the cobalt and the ardite in equal proportions. In fact, why don't I just do that right here? So 1, 2, and 1, 2. And while that's cooking, let's take a look at what else I can do. So, Storage Wars, I have a lot of little things here that I could probably do. Let's take a look here and do a Item router. Bing. That's going to give me a machine upgrade. The routing route looks a little complicated. Block extensions. So advanced block extender is going to require a normal block extender. I'm a little short on iron, so let's craft up a batch. Oh, which reminds me. I actually did want to do something a little creative today. So let's grab our block extenders, grab our advanced block, grab a filtered block. I believe the quest book asks for one of each, which is going to get me a linker. Alright, so let's grab the Manyullyn. That's interesting. So, oh, I guess it just, okay, so it piped over here. And where did it go? Alright, so I hit a bit of a problem. So I guess with the redstone clock, it actually extracted the blocks out separately. It did not give it a chance to combine. So I'm going to run that through again in the smeltery. But while I do that, I have some new items. So I went back to the Nether and I got a magma cube. So I managed to catch one in the inventory in a safari net, just as I managed to catch some bats. So here we see some lava bats now. Now these guys don't give anything special, and the magma cube guys, boop, fire bats, magma cube. So this is just going to pop out some pretty large size magma cubes, but it's set on random, so these are just going to spawn magma cubes of all sizes. But I think the thing that that really is important is I managed to grab a skeleton from the Nether, but not just any kind of skeleton. I managed to grab a wither skeleton. So the key here, in order to get it to spawn as a wither skeleton, I have to make sure that the spawn exact copy is set to true. And once I do that, now the problem with spawn exact copy is it takes a lot more essence. There we are. So that was the first of the wither skeletons. So I'm going to need a lot more essence in order to do exact copies. So I'm going to have to let this run for a bit and build up essence from the normal mod farm. So checking back here, we now have our molten Manyullyn created. So, oops. So let's throw the redstone clock down here, which will now start pouring the purple Manyullyn. So let's grab that out of the ME system and get credit from the quest book. And done. Now the question is, what did that very last quest open up? So far, I can't tell. So what I'm going to do is just head back here and see if there's anything else that's low-hanging fruit. Alright, now the thing I've been putting off for a very long time has been Thaumcraft. So here, under the Thaumaturgy branch, looks like almost everything's opened up, but I really need to start in the beginning. So I've never used Thaumaturgy in well, any other mod so far, but it looks like this is going to get me the beginning pieces. So I'm going to see how far I can get in the next 20 minutes to basically see. Let's grab 2 of those. See if I can at least work my way around to that blizz. So I get to pick. Do I want another capped wand? Now let's go with the reward bag. So that was easy. So the blizz, I'm going to need a freezing doll. So that's going to give me blizz powder. But the problem is, I need to place it in a thaumium barrel filled with water. So, sounds like I need to figure out how to actually make the thaumium barrel. So, let's take a look here. So here is a crucible. Well, those are pretty easy. In fact, I think nope, I never did. So we need the iron crucible here under Thaumcraft. So that's not going to work. It's formed by placing a cauldron in the world and right-clicking it with a wand. So the cauldron is a normal Minecraft normal Minecraft product, so let's place that down. Let's grab our wand and right click, Shazam, Crucible. Alright, so let's pick that up. And that's going to give me some more iron ore. A magic cobble. Alright, so let's look at a stone extruder. So again, no formulas for it. I think it's assuming that I know more about this than I probably do. So I'm going to need the Thaumanomicon. Sorry about that, I had to remap my keys. So here is the library book, which is a special mob, the Enchiridion, which aggregates all the different common books together into a single user interface. So you don't have to go and craft these books anymore. You just need to figure out how to bring up the icon. So, oh my gosh, there's a lot of things here that I think is going to keep me busy for days. Alright, I finally found one thing I can do, and that's make a table. So let's bring up the Thaumaturgy table. Here it is, Thaumcraft table. So this is just going to be normal wood and planks. So I'm going to need 2 of them, but I'm also going to need some more wood. So let's bring that up again. And with 2 of those, it's now going to give me ink sacks. So click on the table with a wand to turn it into an arcane work table. Okay. So it's going to need a filled wand. Okay. So, just reading through the book, I seem to be lacking one of the basics of thaumaturgy. I don't have a good source of these primal aspects, so I'm not able to get shards that seem to be the basis of almost everything. So I think I'm just going to have to wait on this branch until I've read some tutorials and just figure out how to get this thaumium barrel. Now, even something this simple as infusing iron with magic in a crucible seems like I'm not going to be able to even do that. So, alright, I'm back, and I had to take a little break and actually figure out what the heck was going on with Thaumcraft, and I think I'm finally at the point where I can start recording again and kind of demonstrate what I needed to do to get myself the basic materials. So let's head back to the quest book. So when I had finished the Thaumic beginning, it gave me a great wood sapling, a node in a jar, and a wand. Now it turns out that the node in the jar is I didn't realize was a kind of free shards, let's say, in a way. So we have a whole bunch of well, not shards. They're like the magical aspects of Thaumcraft, and it gives us 15 of each to start, and that's sort of like a free research. The other thing it gave was a great wood sapling. So I'm gonna plant this out here because I saw a video where this guy was kind of interesting. Almost like the redwood. This guy gets a little big, so I was going to put him safely away from the rest of the base, and there we go. So this is going to produce one heck of a tree. So what I'm going to do, I think, is set up a large size harvester, and maybe I can automate the production of these trees. Because I have a feeling I'm going to need some of this great wood logs, and so that's pretty cool. Now the next thing I did was learn how to make shards in Agrarian Skies. So normally when you are when you're going to be gathering material out in the world, these shards are going to pop up from mana infused blocks. Now it turns out that here in Agrarian Skies and sky blocks in general with Thaumcraft, you don't have those blocks naturally spawning. So what is added through X asterisk, or Ex Nihilo actually, is the ability to get shards by grinding down materials. Now it turns out that these kind of materials are some of the most annoying in the way you have to gather them, because the sandstone slab cannot be silk touched when it's in a double slab form, as is the other form here, the stone slab. So when they're double stacked high, you cannot just gather them up and throw them back out in front of a hammer or anything like that. So what I ended up doing was adding a autonomous activator underneath the edge of my grinding system, and so this is still grinding away ores like normal, and when it backlogs it's going to fill up in this direction, but I figured the ones on the end are not being used for anything, so let's put them to work with the ex nihilo hammers. So this block here is using a whole bunch of magical hammers. Don't want a silk touch in there. To basically grind down these materials. So anything in this autonomous activator is going to spit out, turns out, 2 blocks above, and that's a pretty important note. You'll notice that it actually works out pretty well that way because it kind of seals in all the drops, and as before, they're all being gathered by these transfer nodes with world interaction upgrades, and that's enough to give it this 5-block range to gather up all the drops. And so it turns out that I used the crafting card in this ME interface to auto-craft half slabs, nether brick, ice, and TNT. So more importantly, the TNT is actually being auto-crafted. The ice is being captured from this new machine area over here, where I have some automatic creation. So over here, this ice is taking water from the infinite water source, which is being captured through a liquid transfer node, which is just being buffered by this barrel, and that is providing water to both the igneous extruder, which is producing stone, as well as the glacial precipitator, which is producing our ice. So the stone is being auto-converted into slabs on demand whenever I come in here and grab a new set. You'll see it's actually filling up quite nicely. And then all I have to do is place the items in this chest, and eventually they will spit out from the autonomous activator. So if I just kind of suck these out, we'll see that the stone slabs, whoops, that's not a good call. I need an even number. Okay, the stone slabs are being double placed, and luckily the half slab takes longer to grind down than the full slab, so that's why the hammer is not actually destroying the half slab. Now, I've learned that I can, so the only one that I cannot mass produce right now is grass blocks. So I don't have a good strategy on that, but what I did find is that I can use the Botania mana pools in a very interesting way. So if I have the grass, the normal grass blocks, well, these are not the blocks. This is grass that's gathered by the harvester that's over by the flour bone meal area. So normally I was grinding this grass, I used to grind this grass down into dirt over in the tower, but it turns out that if you drop grass into a mana pool for a very tiny amount of mana, it's going to produce pasture seeds. Now, what are pasture seeds? Pasture seeds are used to make a large amount of flowers. So let's go here. So basically you'll need them to create all of the floating flowers in Botania, when the floating flowers then used to create other things, which I'm not going to get into in this episode. But this is where it gets very cool. So let me take a little break and spread some dirt. Alright, here is a new grass area hanging off the old Botania area. And so what I'm going to do is just click once, with the pasture seed roughly right here in the middle. So you can see that's a pretty good amount of space that is converted by the pasture seeds. So basically what I can do is I think I'll end up automating some of these pasture seeds and see if there's a way I can auto-convert dirt and then hit it up with maybe a silk touch hammer with an autonomous activator. Sort of like what I did before. I'll use some pistons to push the dirt into the path of the silk touch shovel, and then that should I think finish it off. But unfortunately, I don't really have. You can see how fast this watering can is converting the dirt into grass blocks. But unfortunately, I don't. I've tried before. Putting the watering can inside an autonomous activator will break the watering can unless you have a reinforced watering can, which unfortunately cannot be made till after we have the sigil and the well, I'll leave it till later. All right, so let me finish this. All right, I'm back, and what I'd like to do is work through the beginning of Thaumcraft again, because I think I'm actually fairly close. So what I ended up doing was taking that table and tapping with the wand, which converts it into an arcane work table. So I'm just going to claim that reward to get it. So the first thing I really need, well, let's craft one more table. Actually, a couple more tables. Alright, so here's the table for Thaumcraft. So I'm going to grab 2 more of these. Alright, now what I'm going to need is these scribing tools, which are basically made with an ink sac, glass bottle, and a feather, just like normal tools. Or if I remember, it's okay. If it was the book, then it would be an editable book. But so what I'd like to do is take this and head up. So this is going to be my Thaumcraft area, and on these blocks, I'm going to place down the 2 tables, and I'm going to right-click with the scribing tools. And now it's turned into a research table. And so this is showing me how many of the aspects I've been earning over time. Well, most of these I've gotten just from, well, eating brains. And I assume that 100 is a lot. It seems like a pretty good amount. I'm not quite sure what these other spots are for quite yet. But what I do want to do is take my workbench and put it down. So what I'd like to do is to work my way up to Thaumian ingots. So, alright, welcome back everyone, and I have a couple of changes. So, I created this gizmo over here with another hopper clock, which is feeding pistons, which are pushing dirt through a extremely well lit area. And so what's happening is that the grass is randomly spreading over to the dirt as it heads its way over to some hoppers with some silk touch items in them. And so this is how I am taking the dirt, allowing it to convert to grass, to be silk touched to place in the ME system, and therefore I have infinite dirt. And because of this, I'm up to 110 grass blocks already. And then that way I can take these grass blocks and throw them into the shard maker here. So that way the autonomous activator can grind them down and produce the life shard, or earth shard. So if I go into the ME system, here we see how I am grinding down all sorts of stuff. So I have over 1,000 water shards, 600 sloth, 600 fire, almost 300 entropy, 230 order, 195 air, almost 200 air, and 166 earth. And so, well, now it's ticking up. All right, great. So this is exactly what I need to get going with Thaumcraft, and this will just set me up for all sorts of interesting stuff, probably in the next episode now, because things have just gotten a little too wacky, a little too out of hand, where I really don't know enough about this mod to keep going. But what I will do is pull out our Necronomicon, Thaumaturgy, and let's head back. So I don't have a lot of these auras, but what I do need to do is make a thermometer. And so that actually is part of our Thaumcraft quest book here. So it's down here, thermometer, and that's going to give me some more pieces of earth. And this is what I need to basically scan things to get aspects, and that's what allows me to get more of these numbers here in the research table. So let's head on down and make ourselves a thermometer. So here is the thermometer recipe. It needs any kind of shard followed by 2 glass, or 2 gold and a glass. And so let's grab one of those. And that should allow me to complete this task. So, what I wanted to also note as I start to inspect things with the thermometer, we'll see what I'm able to do. I need to right click them? There we go. Okay, that's not registering. Alright, so what I'm going to do is show you what I did over here in my storage area. So I've actually put these compacting drawers to good use. So these are extracting items from the ME system in its 3 forms: a nugget form, ingot form, and block form. And I'm allowing the compacting drawer to basically roll things up into the automatic block, and then putting a storage bus on the items to basically re-represent the items as nuggets and ingots. And so this is actually working really well. I no longer need auto crafting recipes for these. So I'm taking my diamond, my emeralds, my lapis. I'll probably do redstone too, but it's not really that much of an issue. But here, basically now I have some pseudo items. So 41,000 ingots, not really. It's really 0. 4,600 ingots. Sorry, 41,000 nuggets. 4,000 ingots are really 2,000 blocks, all decomposed. Well, 512 blocks decomposed back to its native items. I have 2,000 blocks thanks to the smeltery, and yeah, things are going pretty well down there. So what I'm probably going to do is go through and start scanning things. Looks like there's some things work, some things don't. Alright, there we go. So cable and or bus. Compacting drawers. Wait. Oh, don't take my compacting drawer. Alright, so I'm just going to go around and scan things, and that'll probably let me call this an episode. So if you could, please leave a comment or a like. Please let me know how I can get started on Thaumcraft in a way that's not going to drive me too crazy. What are the real beginning things that I need to do to start working my way up? So with that, I will see you next time. Bye.